This is crazy, I'm on the right track, I'm finally found. You need some soul searching, the time is now. All I need is one mic.
So in the last video, I told you guys basically about how, and discovered that my brother's wife went on like a goddamn shopping spree in my mom's house. My mind was blown. I know that most of this bullshit was being done just to upset me. I mean, 100%, there was no other reason. She was just doing these things really to upset me. And like, when you think about that, like, why would you, I don't know. Why would you want to hurt somebody who's already going through something? I don't give it if you were my worst enemy. I would never do this to somebody. I just can't even fathom myself like trying to give somebody a hard time just in general, but to give them a hard time when they're already going through a hard time, like a really hard time, like one of the worst things that a person goes through in their lives, losing their parents. You know, and it really goes to show how psychotic this bitch is, because like normal people just would not do this. They just wouldn't. I don't know, you know, I'm gonna say back when my brother and I first got into this whole fight about this wedding dress, I don't even know if you guys remember this part of the story at this point. Back when we first got into this fight, my brother and I, this is just something I do in my mind as I go back to like, okay, what is like the main cause of a problem? And I realized that I'm like, I said the word insecure, and I'm gonna stick with that. Satan, you are extremely insecure, and I think that's your whole problem. That is the weird thing about narcissism, is that narcissists are extremely insecure. Pretty much everything that they do is based off that insecurity, okay? So, you know, yeah, they could act like they're secure and they're confident and they know everything, but in all reality, narcissism is an insecurity problem. And when a narcissist sees somebody like me who's pretty secure with themselves, it's very, very threatening to them. And that is this girl's problem. She's just very insecure. And unfortunately for her, she met probably one of the most secure people she's probably ever going to come across. Of course I have insecurities, but when it comes to me knowing my shit and being able to figure things out, I'm pretty secure with myself. So, all right, so I walked into my mom's house that day and I was just like astonished, more so than like what she took, because you know, at the end of the day, it's all just bullshit items, and that's why I didn't like fight her about them. I did mention it, which you guys will see, but I didn't fight her about it because I was like, they're stupid things. And I did take things too, I'm not gonna lie. I took my mom's mirror. I took a chair from the kitchen that my dad used to hang out in the kitchen all the time. He never really sat in the family room, or den as we called it. And so I took the chair from the kitchen because that was something that meant something to me. She took specific things that she knew were gonna piss me off, and that's why I didn't make a big deal about them, because I was like, okay, those things, yes, I bought them for her, but I could replace those things. So I'm not gonna get pissed off about them. I'm not gonna say anything because I know it's being done to piss me off. What got me really upset though was that she left my mom's house a mess. Have some fucking respect. It's disrespectful to my mom, it's disrespectful to me, and the fact that my mom's family is sitting there supporting this asshole is like beyond belief. Maybe they don't know this stuff, but they're gonna know it now. And if you could still look at this person and have respect for her, I just don't need you in my life. I'm sorry. And I hate to be like that, but things got to such a point where I'm like, dude, if you're gonna disrespect my mom to that level and support this person who disrespects my mom, I don't want anything to do with you. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to know you. I don't want you having access to my Facebook. I don't want you seeing my son. I'm done. Anyway, moving on. Here's what happened after the last email. So I did end up, ultimately, I ended up just going to the bank. I spoke with my attorney. My attorney told me just go to the bank, just finish opening the estate account. That's like the most important thing that you guys need to do. Without that estate account, you can't do anything. So I finally got my ass down to the bank, finished up opening the estate account. Now, when I was at the bank, I tried to text my brother. Okay, you could see that I texted my brother from the bank and my text actually went through. It was blue, okay? And then 2 days later, I tried to text him again and my text went through and it was green. Now, this means that he blocked me. So he unblocked me the day I was at the bank and then must have realized, oh crap, I need to block her again. And so he re-blocked me. So now I could not text message him. When you have an iPhone, Apple automatically sends text messages through iMessage. It's exclusive to Apple. You're talking to another person with an iPhone, your messages usually go through as blue. But I figured out that I was blocked because both my aunt and my brother, I know they both have iPhones, and when they said they were gonna block me and I texted them after that, the messages came back green. So I know that they blocked me. So no matter what I do, I cannot get in touch with my brother. I can only get in touch with his wife through the email. I can't text him, I can't call his cell phone because I'm blocked. I mean, it's just so ridiculous that I couldn't isolate my brother for a conversation. Okay, so I wrote back that last email to her, right? And this is what I get, and this, oh, I hate this asshole. So I sent her back that email, and that was on August 28th at 11:46 p.m. The next morning at 8 o'clock, almost 8 o'clock a.m., I get this email, and she says, please see images of checks attached. I will deposit once account is open. I met with 2 real estate agents for free. Here is one. And then she gives me this guy's number and his name. He would like to show the house this week. You could go to every showing to let him in and make sure nothing is touched. Please call him today. P.S. Tell me this does not want to make you choke a bitch. I'm sure you guys already want to choke her at this point, but check this shit out, okay? P.S. Your phone seems to have been infected with some sort of malware that inserts quotes around words at odd intervals. I hate this asshole. You have to just stick it to me. First of all, with the house, okay? I had expressed to her several times that I thought the house should be emptied. Prior to us listing it, you left it a goddamn mess. Again, your job as an executor is to maximize the profit that you're going to get. I'm not gonna bring people into a house that's a fucking mess because you left a mess in my mom's house, you piece of shit, and show them my mom's house in the condition that it was in. It needed to be cleaned, it needed to be gone through, and I didn't think it was very smart to leave some of the valuable stuff in the house. Call me crazy. My attorney agreed with me. We went over this several times. There was just no compromise. She went and called this real estate agent and was like, he wants to show the house this week, so like you're gonna go and just show this house. And I ended up finding out they signed a contract with this guy and negotiated a percentage for him to take. Clean the wax out of your ears, bitch. How many times do I have to tell you I don't need to provide you with a list? I was not seeking any reimbursement. She knew what bills I paid. It was just like she wanted to tell me what to do. In essence, she just wanted me to waste my time on bullshit that didn't need to be done right away. This was so unimportant to do, but she just wanted to give me these stupid remedial tasks to do so she could boss me around. And yes, I was being an asshole right back in return because you're not going to tell me how I'm settling my mother's estate. It's just not happening. And I wrote back to her at 11:03 a.m. I said, well, the house is in no shape to show it after the mess you left. Please call and cancel. I'll have my attorney call you. You don't just go and make appointments without informing me. So she writes back to me at 11:10 a.m. I haven't made any appointments and I don't know what mess you're talking about. I'm not going to argue back and forth about it either. And I just want to show you guys something with this, okay? Because I found this in one of the many books I read about narcissists. I wish I could credit the book, but I just want to read this paragraph. It says, this is how they divert from the fact that they're putting you down and setting you up for failure by constantly shifting the goalposts. I talked about that in another video. It's also how they change the subject rapidly when they are confronted on their shady behavior. Phrases such as, I am not going to argue with you, this isn't worth pursuing, is common when they are called out on their insidious tactics. And I have a bunch of examples like this, as you guys will see as I go through these emails, that she did this all the time. I mean, her behavior is just textbook narcissistic behavior. When she is confronted about something, she doesn't want to talk about it. Let's not talk about it. I don't want to talk about it with you. Don't confront me with my shitty behavior for leaving the mess. So let's pretend she doesn't know what mess I'm talking about. She knows exactly what mess I was talking about. They just shut the argument down. I'm not going to argue about this. Like, this is it. That's basically that person saying, I don't give a fuck what you think. I just shit on your mother's grave. Bye. That's basically what she's saying to me. I just had to translate that for you guys. So she writes, I only ask that you call him so that we can make arrangements so that he can show the house. Again, no appointments or showing have been set. We haven't even signed any contracts to list the house with him yet, as you probably remember from your real estate licensing courses. What? Did I say real estate licensing courses? No, I said real estate courses that I took. And I was licensed, but I really wasn't. Anyway, you can have your attorney contact my attorney, not me directly. And again, call the real estate agent so that we can take the next step to have the house listed for sale to begin the process. Dude, you need to chill the fuck out, okay? At this point in time, I have only had my papers, the appropriate paperwork, the letters. I've only had them for like 7 days, not even. But you're like already, do the real estate, pay the bills, we gotta do this, we gotta do that, get the real estate done, we gotta get the checks up, we gotta clean the house. Yeah, I need a fucking wagon, let me get my wagon, I'm in my wagon. It's like, dude, chill out! Now, I'm gonna explain what Satan's like. My friend George, who passed away, God rest your soul, Biggs. This was one of my best friends. He passed away. I'll tell you guys that story another time. He used to explain people like her that she's like a little wind-up toy. And it's like, you just like, I don't know, in the morning she must take like her medication or something. It's like she's on meth or something. And she just like, you wind her up and then she's like, shut up, bitch. We'll get this shit done. Shut the fuck up. Let's clear the house first. Let's just do that first, okay? All right? Yeah, thanks. I can't even imagine what her coworkers go through. Like, she is probably the most obnoxious person on the planet to work with. Has to be the most, ugh. So that was her last email to me, August 29th. She sends me another email later that day at 8:15 a.m. and she writes, Leanna, please find either canceled checks or online statements if they were ACH. Please review once again. Please provide a list without proof of all bills you have paid for my review. I will only need proof if anything looks out of the ordinary. How many times do I have to tell you, clean the wax out of your ears, bitch? How many times do I have to tell you, I don't need to provide you with a list? Again, this was just her trying to get me to waste my time because, like, you dumb bitch, you guys have been receiving the mail the whole time. You know what bills I've paid. You're very obviously into this, you know, whole bill thing. I mean, this seems like your hobby at this point in time. You know what bills I paid because you're getting all the mail. And so you could see what bills I paid. Very obviously. If you know you didn't pay them, that would mean I paid them. It's like if anything looks out of the ordinary. What the fuck, asshole? This just aggravates me. I'm so sorry. So then I write back to her and I say, no idea what AHC is, but okay. Are you an attorney? Are you the attorney for the estate? I don't need to give you anything as per my attorney. My lawyer will determine if anything, quote, looks out of the ordinary. Okay? So she writes back to me. Now again, this is supposed to be my brother writing this, but he's at his demanding job.
Unfortunately, I have a demanding job right now.
But, you know, he has time to write all these emails and make these lists and attachments and scan all these documents in and all this crazy shit, right? So she writes back to me, ACH, Automated Check Clearinghouse. It's an electronic check. My brother would not know that. Like, he doesn't work in banking. Like, who? Only a person who works at an insurance company is going to know what ACH is. Again, trying to sound all smart and educated. Anyway, and she writes, and no, I'm not an attorney for the estate, but you need my signature on the check. I'm not going to sign a reimbursement check without a breakdown of what's being reimbursed. Okay, bitch, I'm not looking for a reimbursement check, so shut the fuck up. Holy shit. So while I was editing this, I realized that I forgot one of my emails back to him. I had sent another email as a PS, and so I'm going to read that now. P.S. I called twice yesterday, left a voicemail, texted you and emailed you twice, no answer. I said, please provide me with the name of the additional life insurance policy on my mom. Also, the Fidelity email and password was changed. Please provide me with it. Thank you. Now, this is my 4th time asking him for the information about my mom's life insurance policy, and this is what he replied with. I will get you this information when I get home. I am at work now. I didn't do anything on Fidelity. I received an email from them asking me to accept online access, and I did. Since I completed my form with separate contact information, I assumed that I would have separate access. I see no reason why this wouldn't be the case, as we will have separate online access to B&B. You will have separate access to B&B. I suggest you contact Fidelity for assistance in setting up online access. This will likely be a moot point since we are just going to make a full withdrawal and deposit it into the B&B account. Okay, so now I could get into the very interesting part. I was 100% sure that I was not talking to my brother. My brother, and I've explained this in a prior video somewhere, my brother's just not a take charge kind of person. That's just not who he is, you know? He's never been like that. He's never been a leader. He's a follower by all means. Let me just point this out here, okay? I'm the younger sibling by 2.5 years, but we were 3 grades apart in school. My brother used to call me up a lot for advice. All right, I'm going out tonight. Does this look good? When his ex-fiance left, she took some of the furniture but left most of the furniture there, but a lot of their furniture was like used. So he went to go get new furniture. So we bought a new dresser. Well, he went and picked the dresser out, but like wanted me to come back because he needed my like advice. Like, what do you think about this dresser? He was like trying to redecorate his apartment and he wanted my input on everything. That's my brother, okay? So for me to believe now that all of a sudden my brother just turned into this like overly confident, demanding, bossy asshole, I just don't believe it. You're never gonna sell me that because that's just not who he is. Like, that's just not who, he's never been a take charge type of person. He just never has been. Where's your brain at that you think I'm even going to believe that this is my brother? It's just like mind-blowing that this girl thinks I'm that stupid. It's insulting. I needed proof. My attorney and I had discussed that, you know, and this was way back before we put in my objection. When we were doing my objection, I had sat down with my attorney and he told me that. He's like, you know, Leanna, we could get your brother basically knocked off as executor if he's being an asshole. There was a paragraph in that stipulation of settlement, which was a legal document that was entered into the court, basically saying it's a contract of sorts, that you, as an executor, must execute everything that you do in your own capacity. You signed that document and therefore you are bound to that document in a court of law. Now, Satan was not only using this email to communicate with me, she was using it to communicate with the banks. Instead of making phone calls, because of that document that we signed, she can't call the bank because obviously she can't impersonate my brother over the phone. She can't go down there in person, and so she was using this email to impersonate my brother, basically. Criminally impersonate my brother. And yes, what she did fell under criminal impersonation, and I will show you guys the definition of that. Okay, so in New York, it falls under section 190.25, criminal impersonation in the second degree. And then it says a person is guilty of criminal impersonation in the second degree when he or she, in this case, number 1, impersonates another and does an act in such assumed character with intent to obtain a benefit or to injure or defraud another, or, and I'm going to skip over these next two and go to the one that really pertains to her, which is number 4, impersonates another by communication by internet, website, or electronic means with intent to obtain a benefit or injure or defraud another, or by such communication pretends to be a public servant in order to induce another to submit to such authority or act in reliance on such pretense. Basically, she was going to benefit via the estate, you know, getting money, etc., and she was impersonating my brother criminally. So this email became her means of communication to everybody, not just me. I told my attorney, you know, a million times, I'm like, listen, I know this isn't my brother. I know the way he talks. I know the way he acts. This isn't him. and I needed to prove it. And so I really started going crazy. Okay, I start researching how I can figure out where these emails are coming from. So I started to look at what's called the email headers. This isn't every email. There's different ways to view this, but basically it's all like that technical mumbo jumbo, the HTTP kind of crap. I asked my girlfriend, who, you know, is a network technician, if she could look at the emails and just tell me if there's any way from these emails that they could tell that the email address is different, or the IP address rather, is different from the IP address of old emails of my brother's. Okay, so I took the email headers and I compared them and all this shit. And so I go to this website that was about IP addresses, tracing emails and shit like that, right? I found this message board and I asked somebody to look at it, and they looked at it and they said because my brother, whatever email service he used, it protected their personal IP address. You know, when you send an email, it goes through a few different servers, so you're gonna see a few different IP addresses before it gets to the recipient. But privacy things and stuff like that, a lot of email providers will block out the person's private IP address. The email provider that my brother used, which was Outlook, did so. So the person told me, you know, there's nothing in there that you could really use. So I was like, God damn it, like I need to just prove that she's writing these emails. So I was in this message board, okay? And this person suggests this website to me, and it's called whoreadme.com. I'll put a link below for anybody who's interested in just checking this out because it's pretty cool. What this is it's an email tracker, and it's completely legal. A lot of marketing companies use it to do data analysis. Who's reading our emails? Who's opening them? Are they actually looking at them? Are they actually reading them? Where are they reading them from? What this is, and I can't get into like too technical of how it works because I don't really know, but from my understanding of it, basically this is how it works. I'm going to explain to you guys in the most like simplest terms that I can. What it does is it inserts this image. It's an invisible image. It's 1 pixel. Just in case nobody knows what pixels are what your screen is made out of. All computers, phones, everything is pixels, okay? And all the pictures are made up as pixels. I'll show you guys an example of what a pixel is. Okay, so this is an example of an image that is zoomed in really, really close, and you see all those boxes? Those are pixels. When you zoom into any type of, you know, image on a computer and you get really, really in there, you're going to see the pixels of the image. When you step far away, it looks like a picture, but it's made up of all these tiny little squares, and each one of those squares is a pixel. So a TV screen or computer monitor, when it says 1080p, that means that there's 1080 pixels across the screen. What this tracker does is it inserts this pixel into the email, and when you send this pixel to the person, what it does is it records some information from the person. I'm going to show you guys just an example of what it shows. It'll show you things like what kind of device they're using to read the email, how long they had the email open for, what operating system they have, and most importantly, what type of internet connection they had, and it will give you an IP address. Now, again, that IP address, you know, depending on how the person is connected to the internet, your IP address constantly changes throughout the day, especially if you're using a phone. You know, you might be on your 4G network for your, you know, Sprint. I have Sprint, so, you know, you might be on Sprint's network, and so you're gonna have an IP address from Sprint. And then you might go on Wi-Fi, you know, like public Wi-Fi, so your IP address is going to change again. Then you might go to Panera and connect to their internet, and so that internet is going to give you another IP address. And so it depends on where you are. Your IP address isn't static, meaning that it's not going to stay the same all the time. When you're home, yes, it will. You know, if you're on your home Wi-Fi, you should have the same IP address all the time because that's the IP address that your cable provider gives to you, okay? Now, let me just explain the other part here. This is so complicated, I don't want to confuse people. You sign up on this website and you basically, you know, put your email address in, all that kind of information, and you send the emails from this website. The website automatically puts this little tracker thing in the email when you send it. There is a way that you could send it from your actual like email app or whatever, but I'm not even going to get into that because I just used the website. It was easier and just quicker. So when you send the email email out, okay? And as soon as the person opens it, you get a report emailed back to you, and it tells you all this information, you know, their internet providers, what device they're using, Windows, you know, Mac, whatever. So the information gets sent back to you. Every time the email is opened and accessed, even if you yourself open it, the information is recorded and the report is sent back to me, okay? The person who sends it. So even if I open it, my information is going to be recorded on this tracker thing because it's being opened. When I found out about this thing, I was like, holy shit, this is it. Like, genius, absolutely genius. So I started sending my emails now through this tracker. They didn't know about it. Using the tracker for the very first time, I wrote to him.